Last week on Golf Center when we had David Lepore on from Colleton River and he had his fancy launch monitors in here.
Yeah, TrackMan.
Yeah, we're talking about meeting the ball square and the fact that you hit down on the ball, except on the tee, you're always hitting down on the ball. And, you know, as a mid-handicapper, I still have working on getting that in my head, how to take an iron and how to actually hit the ball first, not the ground first, and go through the ball and actually have your divot in front of where your ball originally was. How do I do that?
Well, I think a lot of it, Bob, has to do, we start out with setup. You know, we set up differently for different clubs based on the shot we're going to hit. But for the sake of argument right now, why don't we talk about full swings?
Yeah.
Okay, we're not going to talk about little pitches or chips right now. We're going to talk more about full swings. And to help us hit down on the ball when the ball's on the ground, we want to make sure that right away we understand that the low point of our swing is more than likely going to be right about where our sternum is.
Okay.
Okay. So we have to understand that for us to hit down on the ball, number one,
Yes.
when we get to the ball on the downswing, we're going to have the shaft leaning slightly forward.
Okay.
Okay, or a little left for a right-handed golfer. Okay. If it's level like this or if it's back like that, we're probably just scraping the ground or hitting up on it a little bit. So we need to understand that the shaft needs to be leaned forward a little bit. To do that, almost everybody needs to make sure that as they're going through the ball, they get what we call a good transfer of weight. In other words, when you're going from the top of the backswing through the ball and into your follow through, we've got to be moving the weight off of this right side over to the left side. So one of the things I like to have people do to get the feel, and if you could be kind of just face the camera and grip the club. Okay, go ahead and just grip it there.
All right.
And just hold it for me, put it down there like we're getting set up.
All right.
Okay, now a little wider with your feet. Now do me a favor, I want you to just move the club back to about 3 o'clock and just kind of let your weight go over to your right side a little bit. There you go, right there. Now slowly let it come through over to your left side, and I want you to feel the weight when you get down here, most of it over on your left leg. And this is where most people get into trouble. As you've seen a lot of people swing and they kind of hang back like that. You've got to make sure you have the ability to balance yourself and support yourself on your front leg, because if not, you're going to be hanging back all the time and you're going to be like Judge Schmales. You're going to be hitting it off to the right and you're going to want to quit the game, and that's no good.
On the other hand, though, even if I do that weight transfer, I'm trying to hit down on the ball, I'm going to hit over the top of the ball. How do I keep from going over the top of the ball while I'm doing that transfer?
Well, obviously we don't want to get moving too much. So that's obviously something we have to be careful of. But understanding that the sternum needs to be just to the left of the ball to ensure, to help yourself hit down into it. That's a great place to start. And like I said, getting the feeling of moving your weight from your right side for right-handed golfers at the top to your left side and being able to support yourself over here is something that a lot of people have trouble with. So you want to make sure before you even really start swinging the ball that you're pretty good at transferring weight from one side to the other.
And so that's the exercise in front of my mirror every morning, 100
get the feel
times.
Right to left. Because a lot of people can get over to the right, but when they get over here, they tend to stumble a little bit. Okay. So now if you grip the club again for me.
All right.
Okay, now let's put it down there like we're getting ready to make contact. Now, what I want you to do out of this impact position is let's just lean a little to the left like you're going through the ball. And there you go. And that's a little bit more of probably where we want to be. You want to be able to feel where we're going to be.
Okay.
Oh, at impact is it's sort of like with the hammer and the nail. If you can't feel where you're about to be, you might hit the finger, and there's ramifications there, right?
Absolutely.
So hitting down, like I said, we want to make sure we get the feeling that our sternum is a little to the left side of the ball for a right-handed player. Now, with the driver, it's easier to hit up. Because that really has to do with setup. And really what we're looking for with the driver is to get a wider stance so we get a bigger load. Wider stance enables us to move to the right side a little bit more without going too far on the outside of our right leg. But the whole key to really hitting up on it is making sure when you get in here, we put a little tilt into our spine here. So if I'm a right-handed player, I don't want to be straight up and down. I need to have a little tilt here, and I need to have that ball up in my stance, and that's when we let the club go by our sternum so we catch it on the upswing. So the whole key is setup. A little narrower for the shorter clubs, a little wider for the longer clubs, and a little tilt for the driver. Sound good? Sounds good. I'd like to thank everybody for joining us this week. For Bob Stevens, I'm PGA professional Chris Tremblay. We'll see you next time right here on Golf Center.